Bros Play! Erdtree Burial Watchdog. It also is a cat. You wanna know what you got? It's cat dog. Egyptian cat dog with the flaming tail long.
That kind of sounded like Nakey Jakey.
Yeah? I haven't watched Nakey Jakey in a long time. He's very insightful. That's what I like about Nakey Jakey. Well, that didn't turn out. Realistically, you got lucky because the first two should have killed you. So, really, you got a mulligan there.
What do you mean he's insightful?
I find that I watch a lot of YouTube channels where they have interesting information, but sometimes it feels kind of bland, where it's, here's a bunch of information that I found and am presenting to you, whereas often when I listen to Nakey Jakey, I feel like he says something and you go, oh, wow.
Yeah.
I never would have thought of it that way.
Yeah.
And I also think he covers some really interesting topics. Like, didn't he do a whole one on loading screens?
Yep. Loading screens, video game sound effects.
Sound effect, I like that one too.
Beer in video games. I think that's the first video I ever watched by him.
Beer in video games, okay.
Yeah, because he talks about just beer sounds like it's just, they're just having fun with it, but it always has some sort of, it represents something at some point in the game, right? Like whether it's just like in Grand Theft Auto, beer is just to make your character do wacky shit. Whereas like in Conker's Bad Fur Day, he drinks beer and then pisses on something that's on fire or something.
Okay, so I guess, yeah, maybe I haven't actually, now that I think about it, I haven't experienced beer in a whole lot of games.
No, it's not. And he also talks about how it's like often done very lazy. Where like it just makes the screen look funny.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, okay.
Which is pretty lazy. But one thing I actually thought was interesting where they used beer was RuneScape had a tremendous amount of alcohol. And so alcohol would give you combat bonuses, but at the cost of accuracy or, various other stats. Come on,
I'm
brother.
coming back. We'll come back.
Okay, we can't do this now.
See, this is another thing that they've added now because it's an open world game. I can just come back, right?
So you kind of need to remember where this stuff is, though.
That too, but in previous games, you're just stuck, right? There's another 30 hours after this boss, but you can't beat him, so you either stop playing the game or get frustrated and
keep trying.
Continuously try.
Oh, wow.
Over and over again.
Sorry, that tree, like straight behind you. Now, okay, never mind.
What about it?
When you first looked at it, it was like jamming. Like it had some
the tree.
There was some rock music, and it was just bopping along.
Yeah, this is the PS4 version actually on PS5 because the PS5 version doesn't run very well.
What?
So the
How
shadow.
does the PS5 version not run well?
Because that's the gaming industry, brother.
That should totally be the other.
What
way
are you,
around.
brand fucking new?
Is there a sketchy dude in the water there?
I'm just gonna give you a hard time. No, these are the pods I was telling you about.
Oh,
The ones
the
that they're really hard to. They don't die. Take lots of damage and they poison you while they do it. I killed a dragonfly.
Good timing.
They take a long time to kill, and they're usually in large bundles, like 15.
Ah, okay.
Ooh, it's another dog.
Hey.
I don't need.
Good
I don't
boy.
need to kill dogs. Like I'm not that guy.
Yeah.
I'm not that guy. It's the truth.
That's what I think of when I think of dogs. Shell, scaly skin.
I'm just trying. Well, I'm realizing now that I'm doing too many of the things that are in my video, and I'm trying to
avoid them.
Avoid that.
Yeah.
I picked up that really quickly. That's gold tinged excrement. Isn't that fun?
Awesome.
Isn't that exciting?
Well, I guess you get it where you get it from.
Yeah.
That's like apparently the expression batshit crazy comes from the Guano Wars.
Oh no.
Where they literally fought wars over batshit because it was like a good lamp fuel.
Oh, that's so wacky about human beings is that we often put like we go, oh, crazy, you guys were killing each other over, but the reality is that it's all just resource and value. It doesn't matter what it is, right?
for the most part.
Like there was this video, or this a long time ago, I watched this documentary about guys who do really dangerous truck runs. Like they run trucks, and there's like places where they get robbed all the time. And this one was like, my husband was killed for $40,000 worth of chicken. And I'm like,
Jesus.
I'm like, he was killed for $40,000.
Yeah.
Like the chicken part is like, you're making it sound like it's somehow more tragic that he was killed for chicken. It's like, no, he was killed for money, which is a resource that gets you other resources, which is the same reason everyone gets killed. So it's like, you're acting like it's like somehow worse.
Yeah.
It's just as tragic.
It's not like it was over, $25 worth of chicken. That would be tragic. Like in a different way, right? Because it's like, well, why?
It would be more tragic if it was like he got killed for his wallet, which didn't even have any money.
Exactly. That's
right. It's like this person wasn't even targeted for murder. They just fought. They fought their the robbers.
Well, it's like in Fast and the Furious, they're stealing VCRs.
Yeah. It doesn't matter what it is; it's money. That's what we're talking about. It's funny when people trivialize it and say, "Oh, it's."
Well, and also people forget how much value there is in a large amount of anything.
Yeah.
Right. Like something that it always blows my mind is that some of the richest organizations in our country, in our province rather, are gravel suppliers.
Dude.
Right? They sell dirt and rocks, but if you have enough of them and people need them, like that's where money comes from, right?
Hobo Johnson has this great line. They sell water and no one even cares. So wait, shit. Where you going? I think he was gonna fight me.
Nah, he's just plodding along.
Is it just lightning? Do I have to worry about the
spontaneous lightning?
Oh, I was given a horse and I didn't put it on.
Dude, go investigate what the hell's going on there.
I gotta get my horse first. They sell dirt and no one even cares. They sell wait. Shit.
Get it right.
They sell water. Soon enough they'll sell air. They sell dirt and no one even cares. Soon enough someone will buy the entire moon and charge to change the tide. Something.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Well, that is actually the plot of the modern Lorax, right? Is that air is like bottled and has to be sold.
How do I... Horsey.
Nice.
And guess what the horse does?
It jumps?
Double jumps. And I can't double jump. The horse does, though. And that's sweet.
And it's got horns.
Isn't that
This is
wicked?
a sick horse.
Ooh, Vulgar Bloom. I've never found this before.
Well, and now you're finding a shitload of it.
And I think it's what's causing the lightning, too, so...
I think it's the other way around. I think the lightning is depositing these.
Oh, so I can come back.
I don't... Yeah, maybe. This is the
Get
land of
more.
eternal lightning.
Yeah. I don't
Although, just, I don't know, going off what you just... That little thing from the song you were talking about... this seems like the kind of thing where in like our modern society where someone would set up a tower with a lightning rod and like channel all that lightning for themselves and then sell the flowers off to other people, and then there'd be a city set up and it would be named like the Land of Lightning but in another language.
There's a great comic where there's a guy sitting under a tree and a guy comes along and cuts down the tree, then puts up a stand and then charges for shade.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's it's kind of funny that
This man needs to relax.
yeah, he's a little erratic. We definitely complain all day about, capitalism and how Ooh. The goat got involved? Oh man, who figures the guy with the giant sword is not the biggest danger on this hill?
If it was Team Fortress 2, it would say horse rider plus horse plus lightning plus goat killed.
Oh yes, yes it would.
Killed Dingalus. That was like one of the earliest clickbait titles I ever came up with. Black Jesus plus Girth. Because my character's name was Girth. and me and the character named Black Jesus killed somebody, so I yelled out like, Black Jesus plus girth.
Was this in League of Legends?
Team Fortress 2.
Okay. So you played by the same name there?
Girth, yeah. I haven't been girth in a long time though. I'm always some variation of Mitch or Downwheel.
Yeah. I always liked Sidewalk Painter.
I didn't really care for it.
I know you didn't. That's why you did away with it.
Yeah, I mean, I like the Sidewalk Painter line from the Protest the Hero album line, but
And that's where it came from, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I don't exactly remember why it stuck so well, but realistically, my screen name has become Radium.
really,
That is
still.
definitely my screen name. Yeah, I've like obviously I played World of Warcraft for years, like literal, years worth of playtime probably.
Yep.
And then on top of that, when I've started playing other games, like even Warframe, I made that my name Radium with 2 M's for consistency. But it all goes back to one of my buddies in high school. Holy shit! Double jump.
Yeah, it's called like Storm Jump or something.
Pretty wild. But yeah, so I was playing World of Warcraft and I made a Death Knight and their eyes glow blue. And a buddy of mine goes, "Man, that looks just like radium." I said, "What is that?" And he told me it's, some element that glows. Then years later, I find out the story of radium. Do you know what the backstory is? Like, have you ever heard of the Radium Girls?
No.
So radium was this element they discovered, and it was like the most amazing thing ever. It glows on its own, like not glow in the dark where it needs to be in the sunlight. Like it always glows, and it's because it's radioactive.
Wow.
So they used it for watch dials and things like that, so you could see them at night. And like they used it on a lot of military equipment.
Sweet.
And so these women would paint these watch dials, but in order to paint them accurately, they would use their tongue to make the paintbrush to a point. And so these women would sometimes be ingesting so much radium, they would go out to the club later that night and would literally glow. People could see them. You know how like when people always say like, "Oh, you're glowing." No, literally glowing in the dark. And it got to the point where these women just started, like, they were literally falling apart from the inside out. Their bones were rotted from all the radiation they were absorbing.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and so now, I remember one guy showed a little jar, like a glass jar full of watch dials, and it was highly radioactive because of all the radium painted on them.
Is there another species on the planet that is more face first than us? Like every animal physically is face first because they're usually quadrupeds. But like as far as the concept, we are so. I'm sure there's a way to break this.
Well,
I wonder if he can help.
What I do find interesting is that I would say we are both in a heavily face first type of society where, we discover something new and we just run for it. And that's us as a society. But then you look at China before the Cultural Revolution, and they actively suppressed new ideas and new innovations because the old way was like the way to do it. It's what they knew and believed in.
It's the same reason that Japan was involved with World War II and so such a problem is that their culture was still of ancient like samurai era feudal Japan, but their technology was like an exponential growth.
Yeah.
So they believed that they were like from a spirit. They were like a spirit people in their mindset, and it made them really hard to fight because when you get a European army surrounded, they surrender. So you can kill
or they run
10% of them and capture 90. With Japanese, it was just kill
them all.
You would have to. Like even when they surrendered, they'd have a grenade tucked in their belt and kill everybody because they were dying for God, for their ancient belief system.
And so that's what I find is cool is that it's both. Like yes, especially nowadays when you think about things like thalidomide. Like my goodness. I don't know if you know the story of that, but it was like hailed as a wonder drug for a long time, and it was causing like crazy birth defects. People were dying of all sorts of wild cancers. Think of asbestos. They put asbestos in everything. They used to put asbestos in cigarette filters.
It was the best. It was the best.
It worked really well. And I also think a good example for us, like, you know, as kids who kind of were coming up during the 90s and then the 2000s, the 90s was an era of because we can, not because we should, right? There's a reason that McDonald's and Wendy's and Burger King and all these various chains are starting to take away their, like, plastic shelving and stuff. It's because it's not warm and inviting.
Yeah.
But at the time, it was available and it was cheap and it was easy to clean. So it was like, this is amazing. Let's build all of our restaurants out of this.
Also, I just did I think the first time it's the only time I've parried on this character, but I never parry in this game.
Oh, so was that a parry? I was wondering how you got him there.
Yeah, parrying is so powerful, and I'm pretty sure smaller shields parry better or something. I don't know.
What was that?
I don't know. I think someone else threw a firebomb.
Yeah, so it definitely wasn't you?
It wasn't me.
Are you trying to parry?
Yeah.
Would you kill one of them first?
Okay, fine. And just to be an asshole.
Done, son.
Yeah, so a parry
Wow.
staggers them, which allows you to critical. On my one character, I have an item that gives me a little bit of health back every time I get a critical strike. Also, I didn't even show you this. There's a stealth system now.
Okay.
But what works just as well is the old way of stealth, which is just walking.
Because I guess the only advantage to crouching is they can't see you over objects.
I think it's just sound.
Oh, okay.
But if you attack too quickly, it won't critical strike. You have to, like, stand in front of them and do a light attack.
Right. That's actually something I've found is a complicating factor in Warframe, is that you can execute like that, but one of the problems is, so to crouch, you hold a button, but if you're running, you slide. So if you're trying to, like, walk up behind an enemy and then crouch, you'll end up sliding right in front of them. So you have to be kind of careful. And it's a game all about fast action, so it doesn't really lend itself to stealth.
Right.
Which I find is odd that they have stealth missions, but hey, they're my favorite missions, so I really shouldn't complain.
I've always found, like, I guess not always, but like when we were kids, I guess I actually liked games that pandered because I needed the game to be my way. But now I see that that's actually not good. It's very hard to properly do many things. It's much easier to nail like one or two things and really decide what's my tone, what's the intention, what do I want what type of player do I want to enjoy my experience. So saying you can do anything just as well, magic, swords, stealth, bows, beast mastery, like you're not going to do all 5 of those things as well then, Sekiro. Or no, that's a bad example because there's all those things in that game. I've lost my train of thought.
Well, I know what you mean. Oh,
all action all the time, and it does it really, really well. There's no quiet option, and it's like there's like a loop, they call it, a gameplay loop that Doom follows. That's really, really good. Where you're shooting, then you're running out of ammo. Then you're using the chainsaw to get the ammo, and the chainsaw's on a cooldown, which is long enough that you aren't constantly chainsawing. So you're running out of ammo just as your chainsaw comes back to get the ammo to kill people, and you also have to get close to get the health back. So there's this little loop that they've created with sort of like a procedural thing. Like you have to do things in order for the gameplay to work right, but it works so well, and I've completely lost my train of thought. You can't tell.
Well, I like when games have a lot of different styles you can go with, but what I really don't appreciate is when there's a game, like I'm trying to think of a classic example of it here. I think actually Dark Souls might be a good example where certain styles are just flat out more effective than others. Mm-hmm. Right. Even another good example would be if you go back and play Dark Alliance, which is going way back to PS2 era. In Dark Alliance, you can make the game work with any one of the characters. It'll be fine. But a barbarian is so far in, like, out ahead of all the rest of the characters that it actually, like, increases the difficulty if you pick anyone else. So to me, that's frustrating.
Mercenaries. Remember how much harder the game is when you're not Nilsson?
Yeah, Mui and Jacobs have their own powers, but their powers are useless.
In comparison, yeah.
Like, I don't even remember what Jacobs' power was.
Explosives, I think.
Were they bigger?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Which, I mean, that's pretty cool in and of itself. But having a character that's more difficult to kill is just always better.
He always gets a grace period. Nilsson can take a tank shot, and then as long as he doesn't get shot in the next, like, 10 seconds.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's the only reason we finished our playthrough.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for Nilsson, there's no way we would have made it.
I would love a really well-done third Mercenaries game. Because the second game really was clearly going in a good direction. It didn't have the same feel, unfortunately, as the first game. But the first game was really rough, and only just because of its time, and I don't think the development team had a lot of experience in games.
I just feel like they could have remade the first game, and it would have been fine. Just better graphics.
I'd be careful wishing for remakes because they just aren't done very well anymore.
Well, sorry, when I say remake, I wish they just re-released it with better graphics. Like, that's all I need.
Yeah, even just upscale would be fine with me, but even that can't be done anymore. Like the Grand Theft Auto Definitive Edition, which to call it that is...
How did they make it worse? How's that possible?
Basically barbarism to go ahead and say, not only is this the new version, it's the best version. It's the definitive, final, it's the ultimate. If you're going to play a version, it's got to be this one. And it was
terrible.
Garbage. You know what they did, brother? Poorly managed AI replacement of assets.
Ooh.
That's why it happened like that.
Okay.
It was a mobile team charged with making a multi-platform remake of 3 fucking games. The fact that it released and booted up at all.
Well, I guarantee you that contract was a cheapest price wins type of contract.
100%. And there are people who are like, emulation is theft. And there are other people who are like, emulation is the only way to preserve the art that is video games, because the people who actually own the rights don't seem to give a fuck.
Yeah, and I get that emulation is theft. I can see where that comes from, but it's so tough that, you've got a game developer that has very much moved on. They're not making the game to sell anymore. So it's not like you're taking money out of their pocket.
No.
Which I guess is slightly different now with PlayStation having like all the PS2 games on the PlayStation Store.
Not all. No.
But that's the thing. It's like not all of them. That's it?
Yeah, and some of them are really poorly done too. Like Jak 2 fluctuates in 60 FPS, and every single cinematic has like a crackle, like the RCA cables being twisted.
Wow.
Otherwise, I would have played it. I'm currently recording it for a video, and I played it in its original format.
Nice neck arrow, bro.
You like that?
Oh, I guess it's... Oh,
it's right on the
it's in your heart.
It's on the hard point. We're fine. It's good.
I have a tiny shield on me, and if you hit it with your arrow, you will feel very, very silly.
I used to be an adventurer like you, until I took an arrow in my heart. Where my heart used to be. Yeah, I got an arrow where my heart should be. I got an arrow. I love that song.
Oh, man.
Sounds like it's about to build up. Speaking of repetitive
bullshit
music,
yeah,
it's just like, I got a hole where my heart should be. I got a hole where my heart should be. I got a hole where my heart should be. And then you're like, okay, what's the last thing?
Yeah, he's about to take off.
I got a hole.
Yeah, it ends with where my heart should be.
Where my heart should be, yeah.
Awesome.
Bow, bow, bow. That whole band is like, this is such a Family Guy joke, like a flashback of how it happened. Totally hilarious, man. But that whole band, the sheepdogs,
mm-hmm.
The sleeping dogs, they should be called the sleep dogs because it sounds like the band is asleep. Sorry, I was just waiting for the pity laugh.
Oh no, not getting one.
Oh, okay.
Not on that.
By the way, you have to stab these. You have to hit these things when they're down so that they don't resurrect. That's why. That's very frustrating when my sword keeps hitting the wall.
That's right. And so when you go back to the Grace Station, they all repeat. Or
Grace Station.
What'd you call it?
What is that? The fucking. It's like Half-Life. The Grace. Whoop whoop whoop.
Yeah, it's the Station of Grace.
Anyway, that whole band sounds like someone had an idea and they had like a nice little guitar thing, and he's like, "Great, don't stop that. Get a drum beat. Now don't stop that." And I'm gonna kind of throw together a couple lyrics that's like generic enough that almost every human being who listens to it can somehow connect with it.
Yeah, I have just noticed that music these days is almost intentionally not supposed to be listened to.
Yeah,
it's supposed to be heard but not listened to, right? And I'm not into it.
It's like
you died.
It's like Hey Ya, or Santeria, or Pumped Up Kicks. They're all upbeats, but the lyrics are fucked up.
Yeah, actually.
I mean, Pumped Up Kids is a really fun tune about a school shooting.
Pumped Up Kicks, but yes.
What did I say?
Kids.
Whatever.
So what's the deal here?
They're also pumped up.
We're in a catacomb and that end door is closed, so we have to go through the catacomb to open it?
You have to find a lever that is on the lower lever that will say a door has opened somewhere. Somewhere a heavy door has opened.
So like, can't you just kind of run through here?
If I want. Yeah.
By the way, get your souls back.
They're runes.
Whatever.
Yeah, I mean, really, I could actually just book it Booker T style.
Yeah, because they're not very quick.
Who's Booker T?
Booker T is a WWE wrestler.
Okay, good. I thought that was the name of a friend I used to have, and I name dropped him.
No, well, I mean, you might have known a guy named Booker T, but no, he's a wrestler.
No, not the Violet. Oh, hello, gentlemen.
Whoa.
Missed me with that.
Whoa.
Come on, grab the rose. Missed me with that, too. Oh, that's a lot of skeletons.
Can you actually run, or...
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's like
kind of a
nice
jog.
It's a good jog.
It's pronounced jogging or yogging. It might have a silent J, I'm not quite sure. But apparently you just run for an extended period of time.
Yeah.
It's all the rage.
I was just thinking about Anchorman 2 and how Doug the Gug is in it from House of Lies.
Oh, yeah,
and how he must have been like, this is my big break. And then Anchorman 2 happened.
Just flopped.
And I just thought, what would I do if I had an opportunity? If it was just a script landed on my desk and it was like, Boondock Saints 3. You know, it's like, oh, sweet. Working with Norman Reedus and Sean Patrick Flannery and whoever directed it? But like, do I get the full script or just my part? Why does this man have half his health?
Usually you get the full script.
This is sus, dude. This guy's a sussy baka.
Something's not gonna go well.
And the acronym of his name is actually Baka.
Oh wow.
He's like the ultimate sussy baka.
Have you heard of the Mbaka?
Have you? Can you stay still for me, sir? I wonder if he will just forget about me.
I like that he's not the Black Knight. He's the Black Knife Assassin.
Yeah, he got the name from carrying a black knife.
Oh, he's quick.
You're a quickster.
This is a really menacing boss.
This is actually probably the easiest catacomb boss, I think. I summoned a person one time and we killed this guy like before I even saw all of his moves. He starts with like 60% health. It's really weird.
Yeah, that is really strange.
Maybe I somehow did that by like how much damage I did to the skeletons. I don't know.
Maybe. Or maybe how quick you got to him.
Maybe somebody else fought him first.
Yeah. Maybe there's some sort of story element. But yeah, you're right. He he's very fast, but he's not hitting you as hard as the last boss.
It could be like a racist thing.
Because he's black.
Like predatory lending. They only gave him 60% of his health.
Oh my god.
They redlined the black knife. See, the white knife assassin would have 110% health.
Oh, that's
and
right.
And plenty of support.
That's the thing. Everyone wants to help out the White Knight assassin.
Now I feel weird killing this guy.
Why? Because you got a subprime mortgage?
As a as a white-haired old white lady, I feel like I've already like had enough victories.
Yeah, but didn't you pick like Gypsy or something weird? Like, what did you pick? What did we go with? A Newman. You're a Newman.
I'm a Newman, yeah.
The Newmans are not really white. It's the same way the Russians aren't really white. They're a totally different breed. They might as well be human gorillas.
Wow.
That's not an insult. It's in fact actually a very terrifying aspect of their peoples. That's why Khabib Nurmagomedov is like one of the only people to ever legitimately go out undefeated.
Was that a Dr. Seuss line?
Khabib Nurmagomedov? No, it's a UFC fighter. Is that a Dr. Seuss line? How dare you, sir? Give more respect to the people of Dagestan.
Are you ready for probably the greatest like open world element that came into this game?
Yeah, man. To the entrance.
Yep. That's it.
You just grab a string of light.
Yep.
And you reappear.
At the beginning of the level.
All right.
Yeah. It's official. The FromSoft team is AAA now.
You did it.
Yeah.
All right.
Next time, I can't promise anything, actually.